Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to look at the Raiders Week 13 matchup up against the Washington football team. I'm also going to give you a score prediction and some cool stats coming up as well. Now, obviously, the Raiders coming off a big-time win up against the Dallas Cowboys. Washington, they've won 3 in a row. But when you look at this game, Sunday, December 5th, it's a really, really big game. Washington, if the season ended today, kind of pisses me off a little bit. Washington would actually be in the playoffs with a 5-6 record. The Raiders on the outside looking in. We were also actually going to look at the NFL playoff picture. But I did this last week, so guess what? I'm going to do it again. I don't have the coin on the show, but I want you to like this video for a Raiders win. If you like the video, the Raiders will win. I am a very superstitious person, so please like the video, man. We got to go to 7-5. We got to take care of business up against the football team. The coin says the Raiders are going to win, and if you like the video, then guess what? We're going to win. Now, when you look at the Raiders' last 5 games, Week 7, 33-22 against the Eagles, but that team was a lot different than the teams over the last 4 weeks, because when you're looking at the Raiders roster, you're going to look at the last 4 weeks. Now, you lost 3 straight games, Giants, Chiefs, Bengals. Chiefs and Bengals was very, very ugly, but a big-time bounce-back game up against Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World, win in overtime. So you basically have won 1 out of your last 3 is what I'm looking at. For Washington, though, they're starting to play some pretty good football. They've won 3 straight games over the Bucs, the Panthers, but they do have a short week since they played the Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football. But this defense is really starting to play a lot better, which is kind of strange because they don't have their best defensive player, Chase Young. But it is a game that I'm going to be tuned into. Now, if you guys want to be able to bet on this game, the over-under in this one is actually set at 50 points. The Raiders 3-point favorites at home. When I saw this originally, I actually got my first bet in at chatsports.com/Raiders when the Raiders were 2.5-point favorites. So hopefully I win my bet. Now, before I give you guys my score prediction, I do want you to go down in the comments section and give me yours. And I'm actually going to make this the pinned comment on today's show. So for those of you that come across this video, Raiders, Washington, there's going to be a lot of football fans here. So let me know down in the comments your score prediction for this game. All right, y'all, coming up right now, we're going to get into this Raiders versus Washington stats. I'm going to look at the offensive side of the football. We're going to look at the defensive side of the football. And if you see anybody posting these, because for whatever reason, the next 2 graphics I show are by far the most popular that I see on Instagram, Twitter, please just tag me because all I want is credit for our work. All right, here we go. The offensive numbers, Washington up against the Raiders. What I really want you guys to take notice of is total yards per game, 6th. Yet the Raiders are 17th in the NFL in points per game. That goes on the shoulder of Derek Carr, the overall offense, and you need to be a little bit more creative in the red zone. So, Bisaccia, I'm looking at you. Whether or not that means you're going to use Marcus Mariota, I need to see better production. But if you want to just talk about the offense, you got to slow down their running game because they're really going to try to pound the rock with Antonio Gibson, who he had 29 carries this past week, and that's when that offense can get deadly, because if they're going to be able to run the football effectively, that makes Taylor Heineke a little bit better, but hopefully Casey Hayward can shut down Terry McLaurin because he's one of the best receivers in the league, and they're actually going to be getting back, or they got back Curtis Samuel and their tight end, Logan Thomas. But what about the defensive side of the football? A lot of people are going to look at, oh my gosh, the Raiders are 30th in the NFL in points per game. It's also because they've played more overtime minutes than anybody in the NFL, and it's actually really not even close. Total yards per game, same thing. But the Raiders, I understand that they're bottom 20 in total yards per game and 30th in the league in points per game. They have a top 15 defense. They really, truly do. The last the Bengals and Chiefs game definitely hurt them. The 3 overtime games have definitely hurt those overall numbers. I have confidence in this Raiders defense, and they're going to have to really show up to be able to get this one done. Plus, with the whole John Gruden email thing, hopefully the Raiders play with a little bit of chip on their shoulder to take down the Washington football team. So after looking at a lot of those numbers by Washington, how many passing yards for Derek Carr this upcoming week? The magic number is 300. Anything over 300, and I'm going to be a really happy dude. Why? The Raiders are 6-0 when Derek Carr has over 300 passing yards because he plays aggressive. They stretch the ball down the field. So let's get Deshaun Jackson out there. I know Darren Waller's a little bit questionable, and we'll talk about some injuries coming up. But let me know, how many passing yards for DC up against Washington? Now, if you guys want to go ahead and bet on this game, there was one place to do it and one place only. If you want to bet on any NFL game this entire week, go to chatsports.com/Raiders. That way they know I sent you. Make sure you use promo code Raiders125. It's the only way you're going to get the best deal on the internet. And what is the best deal? 125% deposit bonus. If you want to be a big baller, you can actually deposit up to $500, get $625 for free. Or you can deposit $100, get $125 for free to bet with. Have some fun, throw some money around. Chatsports.com/Raiders. Coming up now on the Raiders Report, we're going to get into some Raiders injuries to monitor. I have 5 names, and these 5 names I want people checking in here on the Raiders Report, checking in on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you get your notifications or wherever you get your information. These are 5 injuries that every Raider fan needs to know about. Darren Waller, he's right now day-to-day, or actually he's week-to-week. So is Carl Nassib. I don't anticipate Waller or Nassib playing this week, but still keep tabs on them. Keyshawn Nixon, Nick Witkowski. I've actually talked to somebody close to Nick. It sounds like Nick's going to end up being able to play in this one. Nixon, I would be surprised if he ends up going, but the major injury that a lot of people keep asking me about, Trayvon Mullen. I don't anticipate him playing this week up against Washington. I could see the Raiders resting him another week. That way he's ready to go week 14 up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now what we're going to get into, y'all, is a playoff picture and some teams to root for, because I know I showed this earlier in the week, but everything's always changing in the NFL. So, who should you be rooting for this upcoming week, NFL Week 13? When you look at the division leaders, you got the Baltimore Ravens, the New England Patriots, the Tennessee Titans, the Kansas City Chiefs. Then your wild card teams, the Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Chargers, Raiders, Broncos sitting there at 6-5. You got the Colts and the Browns at 6-6. The Pittsburgh Steelers 5-5-1. The Dolphins 5-7. Sorry, Jets, Houston, and Jacksonville. Y'all seasons are over. Now, when you look at the AFC West standings, the Raiders are the number 4 seed, but it's because of their 1-2 record in the AFC West. That's what the second number is over here. The Broncos, they're 1-1. Chargers, they're 2-1. Chiefs, 1-1. So in terms of who are some teams that you guys should be rooting for this week, you want to be rooting for the Houston Texans up against the Indianapolis Colts, because the Colts are definitely a team that they scare me, man. Their ability to be able to run the football right now with Jonathan Taylor. The Raiders do play them week 17, but the Colts are going to be a team in the playoff hunt. I'm going to be rooting for the Bengals over the Chargers simply because I'm not going to root for the Chargers, who are the number 7 seed. The Ravens at the Steelers. Now, the Raiders have both tiebreakers over these teams. I just see Baltimore winning their division, and I don't want it to come down to the Steelers and the Raiders near the end of the year. I don't think the Raiders are going to tie, but I still want them to have the tiebreaker. Broncos at the Chiefs. Raiders right now hold that tiebreaker over Denver, and if you can take down Kansas City and the Raiders win, hey, man, that just helps out the team a lot. Patriots at the Bills. This is the same thing. I really see the New England winning this division. So if it comes down to the Bills or the Raiders, I want the Raiders to have the better record. So even though it kind of kills me to root for New England, I'm going to. But the Patriots and the Bills, they play each other 2 more times over the next 3 weeks. So here's what the game that you guys really care about, though. And don't worry, I'm actually going to be live for Raiders, Washington. Tune in for my watch party. I do watch parties every single game. Now, I'm going to be here in Dallas. I'm not going to be out in Las Vegas, which definitely sucks. But, hey, it's the way it is. So we got Washington up against the Raiders. I'm going to ask you guys one more time to get your score predictions in. The over-under in this game is set at 50 points. The Raiders, 3-point favorites. So if you want to go ahead and bet on this game, chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. My score prediction for Raiders up against Washington is, drumroll please, give me Las Vegas 27-24 up against Washington. And I also want to say this, if anybody out there has a Fire Stick or if anybody has a Amazon Alexa video device, I want you guys to say, hey Alexa, play the Raiders 2-minute drill. That way you can also see a picture of me, a video of me breaking down those games. I do it every single week for Las Vegas, so please go ahead and check it out. But give me the Raiders 27-24 to take down the Washington football team. All right, y'all, if you want to hit me up on IG, remember it is at Mitchell Renz 365. I'm always going to be checking my DMs, always going to be seeing what you guys have to say. So seriously, hit me up, IG, Mitchell Renz 365, especially if you don't like my score prediction, 27-24 over Washington. If you have any fantasy football questions about, hey, man, who do I start, who do I sit, who are some players that we should be worried about for Washington, don't worry, I'll keep you updated.